Welcome back to Operation Game Table. I'm Alex, and today I'm counting down my top 50 greatest games of all time. All right, we're at number 30. This is Evolution Climate. And if you're a fan of Evolution and you like this game, but you want to get kids into the game, it has Evolution, the beginning. Great game to start off with if you're learning the Evolution series of games. And this is one of those games that just doesn't get old for me. I've played it dozens and dozens of times, and every time I play it, I have a blast playing it. Everyone has a blast playing it. This is just one of those classic, good games that's fun to play. Guaranteed go-to game. You're playing as creatures adapting to survive in ever-changing environments. The climate can change to getting hotter or getting colder. You deal with ice ages, you deal with fire. You have to adapt your species on your board in such a way that's going to make it last in the environment as the climate changes. But also, it's very interactive. Your species might be a carnivore and you're trying to eat me, or I might be trying to eat you, or you can change your species and evolve your species from going from a plant eater to a carnivore and then start attacking the other players. You can have all sorts of different abilities for your species to make your species last, eat more, adapt to the environment, adapt to your surroundings, and try to eat the most food to win the game. Whoever eats the most food out of the food pile, which there might not be a whole lot of food in there might be plenty. Every game is different. Super fun game. Always fun to play. Always willing to play this game. Great game. All right, number 29 is War Chest. It's a heavy game because it's got poker chips in it. Fun for anyone that likes the feel of poker chips while they're playing a game, and anyone who likes chess is going to like this game. This is an abstract battling game. It's best with just one-on-one. I think it can play up to 4 players, but it's better just head-to-head. You're playing as medieval commanders using unique units. You're trying to control the battlefield. You win by capturing these control points on the map. When you capture enough of those control points, you win the game. It's different because it's a bag building mechanic. So you're putting your poker chips in your bag, and each poker chip has a different player on it. So you could be an archer or a swordsman or a knight, and each one has a specific move, and you've got your cards. And every game setup's different because when you start off, you're going to draft your cards and decide who's going to get what pieces. So I'm going to have different pieces than you are. Your pieces are going to move differently than mine. And every time you set up the game, it's going to be a little bit different. So it's got tons of replayability. And then you're putting your pieces in your bag. It's a combination of bag building plus the tactical mechanics like chess. Anyone who likes chess and chess-like strategy, and you want a little modern twist to the game, this does it best. This and Onitama, great. If you're a chess player, or Hive, you're a chess player, those are the best chess-like games. War Chest, Onitama, and Hive. But excellent game, highly recommended. All right, my number 28 favorite game of all time is Terraforming Mars. Specifically, Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. I have both. I have regular Terraforming Mars and a couple expansions for this one. And I've got the Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. This is not an expansion. This is a standalone game. And I think this does Terraforming Mars better than this. If you're a fan of Terraforming Mars, I highly recommend you get Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. I think it streamlines the game, makes it a little bit better. But this is a great game. You're trying to terraform Mars. You have to win the game by get enough water on Mars. You have to get the oxygen level up high enough, and you have to get the temperature up high enough. And once those things have been completed, then the game ends and scoring begins, and whoever earned the most points, they're going to win the game. Who's going to like it? Fans of engine building. This does engine building better than pretty much any other game out there. In fact, it does it so well that it can be a little overwhelming with so many cards. So who's this game not for? Someone that's going to be overwhelmed with too much engine building. And if you have a little bit of analysis paralysis, this game can take a while. So make sure that you're not playing with any of those AP group players when you're playing this game. You want to play this game, it's going to take too long. But get the Ares Expedition. Streamlines it, makes the game go by a lot faster, and it doesn't take any of the fun. Keeps all the best things from Terraforming Mars, puts it in Ares Expedition. Great game. That's my number 28. My number 27 favorite game of all time is Ark Nova. This massive game, huge table presence, A lot of fun. You're playing as zoo conservators. You're building your own zoo in this game, and you've got to carefully manage your animals. You have to have enclosures for your animals. You place those out on your little zoo map, and you have to make sure that they fit. You get attractions, you get conservation projects. Whoever scores the most points wins. The scoring track is pretty unique in that there's two different scoring tracks. One goes one way around the game, the other one goes the other way around the game, and as soon as those two scoring tracks cross, that causes the game to end. One final round to see who can get the most points. Most points wins the game. The game mechanisms, the mechanics, the way you use your cards, you have these action card abilities, and when you use one, it goes down to the bottom so that it costs more to try to use that one again, or you don't get as many abilities for it. You can upgrade your cards so that you get upgraded abilities. It's got a lot of Euro elements in it, but it doesn't feel too Euro-y, if that makes any sense. Like it's definitely a Euro game, but it doesn't feel too difficult. It doesn't feel too crunchy. It's easy enough to get to the table to explain. I'd say it's a medium level complexity, but it's a big game, so it can be a little bit intimidating, but it is so fun, and there's so many cards, and every time you play is going to play completely different. Great game, tons of replayability, highly recommend it. It is a long play time, so that can be a little daunting for some players, how long it takes to play this game. All right, and my number 26 favorite game of all time is Hive. I've got two versions of it. I've got Hive Carbon, which is the black and white version, and I've got Hive Pocket, which is the colored version. All of the bugs have different colors on them, and I like the Pocket version better. So if you ask me which one to get, go for the Pocket version. It's smaller, takes up less space. Great travel game. You can take it with you and play anywhere you go. You don't need a table. You can just play this on the floor somewhere. You can play it out in the desert. You can play it in a field. You can play it when you're camping. It's bug chess. Hive is bug chess. You're playing chess with bugs. Not really. It's not chess at all. Totally different pieces. Each piece moves a little bit differently. You're going around this hive. You're trying to figure out how to surround your opponent's queen, but the way you think is like chess. If you like chess, you're going to love Hive. There's even a guy that wrote a book. It's online. You can check that out. You're trying to control the hive. You surround your opponent's queen. You have to protect your own queen. Each bug moves a little bit differently. The ant can go anywhere. The beetle can jump on top of other pieces. The spider can only move 3. So each piece has its own rule. There's even a couple expansions. There's a ladybug and the mosquito that can bite another bug and get its abilities. I like playing the classic version. Who's this game for? Anyone that likes chess. Gotta get this game. Who's this not for? People that don't like abstract games. If you're not a fan of abstract games, you're not gonna like this game. Hive Pocket or Hive Carbon. Number 26, favorite game of all time. My number 25 game of all time is chess. I don't know how it got ranked number 25, but that's where it ranked this time around. Chess. I love it. Great game. I've been playing this game longer than pretty much any other game. I learned how to play about the same time as I learned to walk. Love it. Checkmate. All right, my number 24 game is Iberia. And I'm putting Iberia along with Pandemic. These, for me, are both the same game, just different IP, different style. I like the Iberia version better, but basically I'm putting all the Pandemic games in the same spot. It's a cooperative board game where you're going around, you're trying to get rid of outbreaks that are spreading across the world. You have to cure the disease or stop the spread of the disease, and that's how you win the game. It's a cooperative experience, so you're playing with the other players at the table, and you're all collectively trying to figure out the puzzle to figure out how to beat this game and these outbreaks. You're playing as health workers combating diseases in 19th century Spain in the Iberian Peninsula. You have to work together to research diseases and contain them before they spread too far. The cooperative gameplay and historic theme create a rewarding challenge. Any fan of cooperative games is going to like this game. This pretty much is the best cooperative game out there, or one of the best. One of the classic cooperative game experiences you can get is the Pandemic series, and I think Iberia does it best. I like the asymmetric roles that you have. The characters that you have in this game have different abilities. It makes it a lot of fun. Love it. Iberia is my number 24. All right, my number 23 favorite game of all time is Seven Wonders Duel. This game is incredible. This is one of my go-to games with my wife. Anytime we want to play a quick 2-player game that we both love, that we know we're going to enjoy, Seven Wonders Duel is always at the top of the list. You're playing as rival leaders, building civilizations. You're drafting cards from the table in this really unique way. Some of the cards are face up, some of them are face down. You have to be careful. You're just taking turns drafting these cards, building your civilizations, getting resources, getting science, getting military strength. At the end of the game, whoever has the most points wins, or you can win by a strategic victory right away. If you get enough strategy or get enough war cards out there, you can get a military victory. Or if you collect enough of the science cards quickly enough, you can get a science victory. Great head-to-head experience, great two-player game. Was my favorite two-player game of all time for a very long time. And that leads us to my number 22 favorite game of all time, which is Lord of the Rings Duel. This takes Seven Wonders Duel and makes a whole new game out of it with similar components. I thought about combining these two into one, but they're different enough games where if you don't like the Lord of the Rings theme, you could still have a blast with just the Seven Wonders theme. But if you are a fan of Lord of the Rings, this also changes enough mechanics in the game to make it a better game, in my opinion. It takes the counting at the end of counting up your points to see who wins. It takes that out of the game completely. At the end of this game, you don't have to count up any points. You know who wins right away just by who has more control over Middle-earth. Awesome game. If you like Seven Wonders Duel and you like Lord of the Rings, this is a better version of the game. You've got three different ways that you can win. You can win by taking over control of Middle-earth. You can win by, instead of a science victory in this, it's controlling the races. So if you get enough of the races to be on your side, you can win that way. And you can also win by the ring track. So there's the track, the Nazgul, the ring wraith is trying to chase Frodo, the Fellowship of the Ring, and catch him. If you catch him, then you win automatically. If he gets to Moria and is able to throw that ring into the fire in Mount Doom, then he wins the game right away. So multiple paths to victory. The best parts of Seven Wonders Duel are in this game with the card drafting mechanic, but this does it better. It just really elevates the game. All right, my number 21 favorite game of all time is Memoir 44. I just love this game. This is a lot of fun. It's World War II in a box. You're playing as one side or the other. You go through all these different campaigns. There's military battles that you go through. So you set up the game and you're playing one player against the other. I've got an army, you've got an army, and we're gonna play through one of these battles from World War II. And I've got, tanks and troops, and you're rolling dice, and you have this card-driven mechanic where you'll draw a card, and this card might say that you can move troops on the right flank or you can move troops on the left flank, and you have to use these cards in order to make your movements. So even though you can win the game if you can just push forward in the center, if you're not getting any of those center cards that allow you to push forward in the center, the only thing you can do is move on the left or move on the right based on the cards you have. It just really, you have to figure out how to win when you don't have everything that you want or what you feel like you need in order to win this game. The luck of the card draw, can throw a wrench into your plans real quick. And then the dice, there's a little bit of luck with the dice, but there's the overall strategy. It still feels like your strategy going against their strategy. It doesn't feel like luck is running the game. It really feels like there's luck on both sides, but whoever can figure out the best strategy based on the luck of the draw is going to win this game. You have to complete your mission objectives, outmaneuver your opponent on the battlefield. The scenarios, the historical detail, they bring these World War II battles to life. Who's gonna like this game? Anyone who's a history buff, anybody that likes tactical war games. This is a great beginner game, getting into war games. Who's not gonna like this game? People that are reliant on dice rolls and luck. If that really frustrates you, then this might not be the game for you, but I love it. All right, now we're getting to the top 20. So excited. My number 20 favorite game of all time is Champions of Midgard. This game has a lot of nostalgia for me. This is one of my favorite games, one of my first games. When I first started getting into these different board games that are out there nowadays, first started getting into the hobby, this was one of the first ones. It's a dice chucker and a worker placement game in one. You're playing as Viking leaders, gathering warriors and resources to fend off these threats coming after you. There's the Draugr, and there's trolls, and there's these monsters in the ocean, and you're using worker placement to try and get the warriors. If you get that worker spot first, then you're blocking that spot from somebody else, and so they can't go there, but they're going to go over here. So each person's taking turns. There's a way to get the first player marker so it can trade and other people can get the first player so that they can get the first thing they want first. If someone defeats the troll, then you get to give blame tokens out there. Just really cool game. It's fairly simple. It's a great game to get people into board gaming. This is a great introductory game, and it is so much fun. It's still way up there on my list. It's in my top 20 for goodness sakes, and it's not a complex game. You get all your warriors. Your warriors are the dice. So your dice, you're rolling these dice and they've got swords on them and axes, and you're rolling against the troll or the monster, and it just really feels, you feel the theme of this game. It's just, it does the theme well. The mechanics work. It is just a really good, solid game. Highly recommend. Champions of Midgard. For anybody that hasn't played it, you gotta get it. Totally worth it. The only people I would say this game's not for is people that don't like dice and don't like luck. The reliance on that little bit of luck can be frustrating for people that like pure strategy, but get over it. This is a fun game. Get it anyway. My number 19 favorite game of all time is Scythe. This is another nostalgic game for me, another one of the first games that got me into the hobby, and it is still a good game, still high up on my list. Number 19. You're playing as factions in an alternate history in the 1920s. You've got these mechs walking around, these farms, farmers and workers. You're trying to dominate this war-torn world. You have to balance resource management, area control, combat, all these different things, exploration, try to earn the most points. It's got this Euro strategy feel to it on your board. It's got this perfect blend of complexity and player interaction and this Euro feel. So it's probably one of the first Euro games that I ever played. Really got me into liking Euro games. If you're a fan of medium to heavy strategy games and you're interested in playing Euro games, highly recommend. Give this a shot. I think it was top 10 BGG for a long time. Who's this game not for? People that are just looking for a lightweight game. This is definitely a little bit heavier, so if you're looking for those lightweight games, I wouldn't go for this one. But medium weight gamer to heavyweight gamer, highly recommend. Scythe, well worth it. This is one of the original games that got me to fall in love with the hobby, and I've been diving deep into this hobby ever since. My number 18 favorite game of all time is Carnegie, or Carnegie, however you want to pronounce it. This is an amazing game. It's a Euro game. It's crunchy. You're playing as industrialists in the early 1900s, expanding your empire. You're playing back in the Industrial Revolution. You're building your business, your steel factories, whatever. You're building your business. You're building your company. It's got a little bit of networking, route building, worker placement. You're trying to get extra victory points by contributing to society, helping out with welfare of society or research, whatever it is that you can do, humanitarian efforts along with building your business. So you're this multi-billionaire, multi-millionaire, whatever, and you're building this empire across the nation, and whoever can do it better is going to win the game. Whoever can build the best business empire and get the most victory points wins the game. Awesome game. It's super crunchy, really thinky, really fun. When I first got it, it looked boring. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna like this game, but I just heard so many good things about it when I finally gave it a try. I liked it, my wife liked it. Really fun game. Highly recommend it. It doesn't look like it's super fun or exciting, but it really is. This is crunchy. You have to use strategic planning to optimize your resources, achieve objectives. It's got these action selection mechanics are deeply satisfying. You're pulling these boards out of your business. Who's this for? This is for fans of Euro games. If you like crunchy Euros, you're gonna love this game. The economic theme of this game, the business venture theme of this game might not be for everyone. If that's not your type of game, then this might not be the game for you. But if you don't care about that and you want a crunchy puzzle to solve, and love it. All right, my number 17 game. This is another go-to game night game for me. This is always a winner. Lost Ruins of Arnak. This is Indiana Jones in a box. You're going around. It's a worker placement game. You're fighting monsters. You're finding artifacts. You're doing research. You're going through this mysterious temple, trying to get to the top. There's tons of replayability in this game. You can get the expansion pack for the game, which gives you, instead of just having everyone start off exactly the same, you can be different workers, different explorers that have different asymmetric abilities that make them all different, give them extra workers. Highly recommend getting that expansion pack. You're playing as these archaeologists exploring this mysterious island. It's a combination of deck building and worker placement to gain resources, uncover artifacts. Really thematic game. You really feel the theme in this game. They did this game incredibly well. This game is for people getting into Euro games, fans of Euro games, anyone who likes a Euro game but also wants something that gives you that thematic feel of it's not just a Euro game, it's not just a puzzle, you feel like you're going on this exploration. This does gaming so well. If you had to pick ideal board games that just do everything perfectly, this is one of them. Just love playing it, and it's easy enough. It's easy enough that you can get people into this game that aren't even into, like a fresh to the table, never played complex board games before, never played a Euro game before. You can teach this to them. It's not that complicated, but it is so fun. So fun. Lost Ruins of Arnak, my number 17. All right, my number 16 favorite game of all time, according to Pub Meeple. This might be recency bias again because I'm picking the games. It gives me 2 games and I'm picking which one I'd rather play. It popped up really high on the list because I'm just so excited to play it more. This is Merchants and Marauders. Sandbox game where you're playing as pirates in the Caribbean. There's just so much that you can do in this game. You're going around, you're choosing whether you want to be a merchant or a marauder. You pick your ship, you're going around the Caribbean, you're picking up goods. You can pick up the goods and sell the goods, or you can choose to be a pirate and go around and try and fight the other pirate ships. Whoever has the most glory points at the end of the game wins. You can get the glory points by getting the most gold, winning battles, conquering bigger ships, or being able to purchase a bigger ship, or completing different quests throughout the game. It's one of those games that can be as interactive or not interactive as you want it to be. You can play it how you want to play it, like a typical sandbox game does so well. I'm really excited about playing this game more. It was a lot of fun the first few times I played, and I can't wait to play it again. Who's this game for? This game's for anyone that likes those sandbox style games where you can do anything you want. Who's this game not for? The length and complexity of the game. You got to learn a few different rules. It might be too much for casual players, so if you're looking for a casual game, this is probably not the game for you. But it's high up on my list. I don't have any casual games super high on my list, I don't think. That's it. Merchants and Marauders, number 16. Oh, we must be in our sandbox games, because my number 15 is another sandbox game, and it's a big one. It's going to take me a minute to get it over here. Give me a second. Here it is. Firefly, the game. This is my number 15 favorite game of all time. Let me sit down here. Can you see me? Hello! Huge game. Why is this game so big? It's because I got the collector's edition. This game weighs like 500 pounds. No joke. I'm pretty strong. Anyway, this game is a table hog. It's a huge game, and it is a sandbox game. So if you like those sandbox type games where you can do anything you want, you're being a space pirate. This is Firefly. If you've ever seen the Firefly series and you're a fan of it, you would like this game. If you haven't seen Firefly, you should. It's a great show. And they have a great movie that came out, Serenity. Great movie. Go see Firefly. Go watch the series. Go see the movie. And then get this game. Because this game is like you're playing the movie. You get to be the captain of your own Firefly ship. You get to go around the galaxy and you get to find all of the heroes in the movie and get them to be part of your crew if you want. You have to pay your crew. You go do jobs. You fly around. You do jobs. You have to buy gas to get your ship to fly. If you run out of gas, you're just going to be floating around in space. That's no fun. You got to watch out for the bad guys. They're going to try and kill you. When you're playing in this game against the other players, you can be as nice and friendly or as mean as you want to be. You can be a pirate and you can go try to take over their ship if you want to and steal all their goods. You can play nice and just kind of try and play on your own and get the most money. Every single time you play this game, there's different objectives, there's different scenarios, there's different things that you have to do to win the game. Every time you set up this game, completely different, totally replayable. It's a lot to learn. Who's this game for? Anyone who's a fan of the Firefly series, anyone who likes sandbox games. Who's this not for? Someone that doesn't want to have to learn all of the rules. The rules aren't that hard, but there's a lot of them. So especially if you're gonna play with all the expansions that come in this box. Awesome game, highly recommend it, but it's heavy. All right, my number 14 favorite game of all time is Axis and Allies, specifically the 1942 edition of this game, but I would put any of the Axis and Allies games in the same spot as this one because they are all fun to play. You're playing, this one is World War II, you're playing as either the Axis or the Allies. You can play this as a multiplayer game, but it's really best played with just 2 players. And you're going around, you're controlling production centers, and those production centers give you the ability to produce more troops. And the more troops you produce, the more likely you are to win the game. And this is just a strategy game. Dudes on a map. If you like dudes on a map, strategy, war, board games, you're gonna like this game. If you liked Risk when you were a kid and you want an adult version of Risk, this is the adult version of Risk. So if you haven't played it, go play it. It's an awesome game for a reason. Who's not gonna like this game? People that don't wanna have to play a game all day long. This is a long game. This is one of those games that you gotta plan a day for it. Say, hey, you wanna play Axis and Allies? Sure, let me look and see what Saturday I have available. Because it's gonna take you all day. But it's worth it. It's a lot of fun. All right, my number 13 favorite game of all time is another tabletop miniatures game. This is Star Wars X-Wing 2nd edition, which is the better one to get. It's the most recent one, and it's the best one to get. This is a fun game if you just get this box right here. This is the starter box, and it's pretty cheap. I think it was like $30. It comes with, I think, 1 X-Wing and 2 TIE Fighters. If you get into this game, you gotta be careful because this is one of those big miniature tabletop games where if you let it get out of control, you could spend a lot of money on this game because if you want another X-Wing, you gotta go buy another X-Wing. It costs more money. If you want another TIE Fighter, you go buy another TIE Fighter. It costs more money. If you want all of the different factions and all of the different ships, my God, there's hundreds of them. And it's just, it could get out of control just like Warhammer 40K, just like A Song of Ice and Fire. If you want all these different pieces, there are a ton of them. But as far as ease of play and accessibility, this game does it so well. It is so much fun. You feel like you're in Star Wars. You feel like you're actually doing a dogfight with your ship. You've got your X-Wing. The other player's got the 2 TIE Fighters. If you're interested in a game like this, all you gotta do, you just get this one set. You'll set it up. You'll see if you like it. And I guarantee you will. If you like the idea of doing like a little dogfight in space, you're rolling dice. It's a dice chucker game. There's some luck involved, but there's a lot of feeling like you're flying your ship, especially when you get some more of these ships and you have to fly them in formation because that's the best way to fly them. Because if you fly them in a close formation, then when you're rolling dice, you're gonna have them all together. You're gonna be able to roll more dice because they're within the distance to make you in range to be able to roll all 3 dice instead of at a further range where you only roll 2 dice, or very far away where you only roll 1 dice. Not in range at all, you can't shoot. There's the dynamics, the feel of this game is so much fun. Who's this game for? If you like Star Wars and you like that type of feel that I just explained to you, you're gonna love this game. Who's this not for? I don't know. A lot of ships, and then you gotta learn all the different ships and know what they do. So there's a lot to learn. There's a lot in this game. But if you just get this one, just do this one. This is all you need. Just do this one. Do this one and then get a couple more ships and then get a couple more ships. Have some fun with it. Just don't let it get carried away, but it's a lot of fun. All right, my number 12 favorite game of all time. It's very high up on BGG's list. This is Brass Birmingham. Brass Birmingham, you're playing as entrepreneurs in the Industrial Revolution. You're building these networks and industries. You're getting iron and coal. You start off with canals, and then you can increase your canals up to rail. Hey, I'm gonna shoot that damn clock. There's cotton mills, there's breweries, there's pottery, there's all sorts of different industries. It's a Euro game. You have to connect these networks, your canals and your railroads and your cities, and figure out the best way to get your industry to work the best, to get the most points. It's an economic game. If you're a fan of a heavy Euro game, this is a heavy Euro. It's crunchy, it's heavy, but it's Ooh, it's delicious. The complexity of this game might be too difficult for some players to handle. If you don't like big, crunchy, heavy Euro games, this is probably not the game for you. All right, number 11 on my list. This is a new one. This is an exciting one. This is Kelp, Shark versus Octopus. Number 11. Just got this year. This is my favorite 2-player game of all time, I think. I don't know. I've got some other 2-player games that might be higher up on the list. But as far as like a casual 2-player game, this replaced Duel for me. And Duel was replaced by Lord of the Rings Duel. And this replaces both of them. The asymmetry in this. You're either playing a shark or you're playing the octopus. It's based off of My Octopus Teacher, the documentary. The guy that designed this game designed it after watching that documentary. Super fun game. If you're playing as the octopus, you're thinky, you've got this card drafting system, you're picking these cards, you get to add more cards to your deck, so it's got deck building, and you're almost playing like a little Stratego type game. You've got these tiles that are up, and you have to try not to reveal your location to the shark, because the shark's hunting you. He's trying to hunt you. The shark is playing with this dice bag building mechanism. He's trying to add more dice to his bag. The red dice allow him to attack you. The blue dice allow him to move. The yellow dice allow him to search. He's trying to figure out where you are. You as the octopus have this ability to shuffle your tiles and put them back out there in a different way to confuse the shark so he doesn't know where you're really at. As the octopus, there's multiple ways to get victory. So as the octopus, you can win by eating 4 food, but you have to get those food out there in order to eat them all and win. If you're the shark, you have to try to eat the octopus. If you eat the octopus, you win. But the shark can also go hungry. If you spend too much time looking for the octopus and get too many wrong strikes, your hunger check goes up and you lose as the shark player. There's so much in this game, so much fun. My number 11, my favorite casual-ish, but still strategic, chess thinky, abstract, asymmetric 2-player game. That's not high enough on BGG. This needs to be in the top 100 on BGG. This needs to be in the top 50 on BGG minimum. I don't know how this has gone under so many people's radars, but it's got to get out there. This game, everybody, go buy this game. Try this game. It is amazing. So much fun. Well worth it. And if you're going to get this game, get the expansion pack for it too. Has a lot of cool, fun additions to the game. Super fun game. Can't say enough good things about it.